This crispy chicken is from a taco place.
This crispy chicken is from a taco place?
The taco place?
Taco place. It comes in a burrito, too?
From your taco place, it's also a chicken place that's also a taco place.
Bronco Nation will not score. Jackson pours. Each game I score a touchdown. Head to Jackson's on Monday for a 49-cent fountain drink with Let's Go rewards. And don't forget your free banana. Jackson's. Let's go.
Get ready for the time of your life at Circa Resort and Casino, Las Vegas's newest destination for fun, featuring the world's biggest poolside tailgate party with 3 levels of action, 6 pools, and a 143-foot screen. The fun is always on deck with all the games all year long. Stadium Swim, located in downtown Las Vegas on Fremont Street. Book the time of your life today at circalasvegas.com.
And final blade of grass, done. And done. Who knew it'd take 2,007 man hours to paint 47,962,053 blades of grass. Smells like game day. Whoa, it's not dry yet.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Bronco Nation News Live is the only daily show that talks nothing but Boise State sports. And we do it with you. Give us your comments or questions in the ICCU YouTube chat. Or leave us a voicemail on the Signature Roofing voice inbox at speakpipe.com/BNN. BNN Live is presented by our title sponsor, RopePaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics, and our major sponsors, Jackson's, Taco Bell, Idaho Central Credit Union, Lithia Ford of Boise, and the Blue and Orange Store. For more coverage of Boise State athletics, check out the all-new BroncoNationNews.com, now part of the 247 Sports family. Now, here's 5-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Good morning, Bronco Nation. How we doing? Happy Thursday to you. BJ Rains here. John Mallory, KTIK 95.3, the ticket there. And this is Bronco Nation News Live at BroncoNationNews.com. We're presented, as always, by RowePaint.com, our title sponsor, Andy Rowe and Company. They got that 20% off winter painting deal right now. So if you're looking for a winter painting project, perfect time, 20% off from our friends at RowePaint.com. You saw Johnny on Ball Talk late last night. I thought one of the best episodes you guys have had this year, Johnny. Great discussion. I'm going to chop off the mic drop. I thought that was some good stuff from our man Sanford, and get that recirculated on social media today. Hopefully everybody subscribes and watched that show last night, but happy to be with you, Johnny.
Yeah, quick turnaround. The Wednesday night Ball Talk, Thursday night BNN Live. But, man, final home game of the year. That's always a little bittersweet. I certainly for me and what I do, and nothing gets better than covering what I feel a big time college football game day atmosphere and you only get 6 of them. And it goes by so quick. I know we say it every year, so it should never be a surprise anymore, but we say it every year. Man, the college football season flies by. It's like you spend 9 months getting ready for 2 months, and you're kind of like, what are we doing here? But, man, last home game, kind of a bummer.
Wild Redbeard saying ball talk was great last night. So there you go. Thank you, Wild Redbeard. Jeremiah Dickey is going to join us today on the show to take some questions from fans. So Johnny, you're kind of the warm-up act here, help get a big audience before JD comes on. We know he needs that. So you'll be with us, Johnny, about 30 minutes or so. So I'll take about 20% out of your paycheck for this episode. But I know you guys had him on Tuesday, Johnny. I know a lot of folks are wondering, there's a lot of different, obviously a lot going on right now with the football program and NIL and money and coaching and bowl game talk and all that kind of stuff. So it'd be good to chat with Jeremiah coming up here at about 9:30. Another pub for ball talk real quick. Great last night. Coach Sanford was right about the QB situation at BSU. Need to change to be elite in the Pac-12. And the clip we're talking about, Johnny, that I am going to cut off is an interesting one where he talked about Dirk Cutter not recruiting when he was here and the effects of that kind of leading to where we're at right now. And obviously Zach Hill hasn't been able to go off campus and recruit as well. So you have
still active, by the way.
What's that?
Zach Hill, what are his recruiting limitations?
He still cannot go on the road till at least April, I think.
Yeah, he cannot recruit till April. Gotcha. Yeah.
So, but if you go back with Zach Hill not being able to recruit out on the road, Dirk Cutter just flat out admitting, I'm not recruiting. They've had 2 years or whatever, and 3 of the last 4, if you count Cutter helping him out the first time, where they haven't gone off campus to recruit quarterbacks. And so at least from the offensive, from the quarterback coach position, I guess. And Sanford said he thinks that's kind of all kind of led to some of this.
Yeah, kind of caught up to him. That's what Coach was saying, and I heard Prater talking about that earlier this week, kind of on Idaho Sports Talk. Just the quarterback development and the recruiting, and the fact that they are in this position at quarterback. It's odd. I mean, it's not how you draw it up, but I don't think neither is Jeremiah Dickey or Spencer Danielson, man. And usually they find a way to make it work. And I think they win at Colorado State. I don't know about Utah State, but moving forward, yeah, you want to get better at quarterback, but you want to get better at every position too. But I get it. Quarterback specifically in this town, you want to see it operated in a particular fashion. I think the majority of the fans do. And they got to get in that direction. I thought Coach Sanford made some really good points.
Now, somebody's asking about the assistant quarterbacks coach. That is Justin Udi. And actually, on the last bye week when Spencer Danielson went to check on the commits, Justin actually went out and recruited on the road, the assistant quarterbacks coach. So he went with Spencer to check into both their commits. Now it's down to 1 commit, obviously. But I do know that they've moved some things around, Johnny, and the assistant quarterbacks coach, Justin Udi, has been able to be on the road recruiting the quarterback position, but not necessarily the same. And especially, when you're getting guys now, Johnny, as you know, this is the situation they're in is 2-3 years in the making here. And that was back obviously when Dirk Cutter was here. And like I said, flat out said, I'm not going to recruit. And it ended up being, like you said, there's all different factors, all different things, but they are where they are right now. And that's a big off-season topic and storyline is going to be the quarterback position and what they do. And great show last night. And hopefully folks go back and watch that. Somebody else, Tottage Cheese, saying great show last night, Johnny. So appreciate that.
Appreciate you, Todd.
Johnny. Okay. So if you're just joining us, Jeremiah Dickey coming up at 9:30, get your questions in now for him. It's already a sellout, 14 straight sellouts at home, senior night, senior day on Saturday. The fans, at least maybe a lot of them bought their tickets before, the last 2 weeks, who knows, but at least from that standpoint are still supporting the team and senior night. And as you said, last home game, but 2 games to go. And we've been down in interviews the last couple of days, and it's been interesting talking to some of these seniors about just trying to, in a way they're kind of playing out the strings here, but these guys want to finish strong and want to finish with a win on the blue. We were talking to Winston Venable yesterday, as you know, never lost a home game on the blue in his 2 years here. And that's the pride and something that he will always take with him. So, these seniors don't want to go out with 2 straight losses on the blue.
Not at all. And not that I don't know if that's in their head. I think they're just focused on winning, BJ. And man, back to the 14 straight sellouts. I mean, if you're an athletic director, I mean, that can turn in like that's your lifeblood, right? That has to be a box you want to absolutely be able to check. Like, do you sell out every home game? That's like get the most of everything we have. That is our best front porch opportunity. Pack home games. Get everybody here, and that's like the sun. That's like what we're gonna live off of. And 14 straight in this town. I mean, like I always say, that's like tracking down a cephalopoid on foot, man. Nobody does that, and Jeremiah Dickey has. And so that's definitely the first check that you are the box you want to check there, BJ. And I mean, moving forward, though, I mean, I you make some good points, dude. But I don't know if the players are necessarily thinking that way about losing 2 straight on the blue.
Okay, just losing their last home game on the blue. They don't want to go out with a loss on the blue.
Hell no. I don't know if that makes you wake up any earlier or go to bed any earlier, though. That's all I was trying to say. But yeah, that would be a nightmare. I mean, I was thinking about that too. Like Jerron Johnson moving further. I don't think he lost a game on the blue when he was here like 4 years. Think about that. Like, I mean, some of those players, like,
yeah. They had the streak of, I think, 35 in a row, right?
Yeah, and if you don't count the bowl game because it was 1, a bowl game, 2, they were technically listed as the visitor team, then it's like, I mean, they went a decade without ever losing a home game. And, man, those expectations, it's a blessing, but it's such a curse, too.
Yeah.
Isn't it, CJ?
I do think it was nice to get this one, though, so they have all offseason now to market the streak still for the sellouts. I do think getting this last one, maybe it doesn't, whether it was 500 tickets left, whatever, being able now to have all offseason another marketing campaign of 14 straight sellouts going into next year and the 6-6, whatever. And again, maybe it'll be 7 next year. We're still waiting to find out what's going to happen with the Pac-12 deal and in the home games and all that. Did you guys, what was the consensus, Johnny? And I am going to ask JD this. I apologize if you guys asked him. I didn't get a chance to hear the whole interview the other night. I was at the basketball game. Did you talk bowl games at all with JD? And if not, what was your guys' consensus? I saw you guys had a segment about what bowl game makes the most sense. It's funny. I asked Mason Randolph, hey, if the chips don't fall, you don't get to the championship, would you be cool as a senior playing another game on the blue? I said, it's dumb question. It's a month away, but I'm just curious as you look at what might be your last home game. Any thought that maybe this might not be? If you get, would you be open to entertaining playing in the Potato Bowl this year? And Mason Randolph said, heck yeah. He said, yeah, I'd play another home game on the blue. Then he asked a couple other guys after we had turned the camera off maybe or whatever, and they're like, I think I'd rather have a trip. I don't think I want any part of that. So I don't know. I think it'd be mixed reactions. Obviously, the coaches get the final say, I think. I mean, I guess the players could just say we're not playing. But being done before Christmas, I know ESPN wants to probably put him with somebody better on Texas. I mean, I know it probably wouldn't be a Mountain West Bowl if it's not the Potato Bowl. But what was your guys – were either of you okay with it, or were you guys thinking they're going to go somewhere else?
You didn't ask JD about, if anything, about potential bowl game situation. So I did see all the options on the table if it doesn't go the way you want and whatnot. And I've always wanted them to play a game in the Potato Bowl since I've been back in town. It was a really big deal in the early 2000s with Cutter when they did play here. Like, people talked about those games. I remember that's right when I moved here, and it was a really cool thing. But I don't know if they think it's backhanded or it's just kind of like.
I think there's this elitist. They're too good for the Potato Bowl.
That's what I think it is too. And I understand wanting to go somewhere and get the experience. The thing where I'm at right now, though, is last season, the bowl season was a disaster, not just for Boise State, but for college football. And usually in college football, if it's a disaster one year, it gets a little worse the next year. At least that's the trend, man. And so I'm thinking, okay, if last year's bowl season was what it was, what the heck is this bowl season going to be like? There's going to be probably 30 plus teams that have a different head coach than they had week 1, either a new one or a fired one. Those 30 programs, it's almost like a bowl game is becoming a hassle. It's almost like it's becoming optional. Do we want to? I mean, most of the players would want to play in a bowl game, and that's great. But there's a lot of players, a high portion of players, in many cases, your best players that don't want to play in a bowl game. They want to move on. They played with their last game with you, and then you have to scramble. You also want to try to recruit. You want to prepare for the portal. So I don't even know.
That's where I'm at, man. I'm like, hey, you want this season to be over with as soon as possible. I mean, I hate to say it. I hate to frame it that bluntly, but like, this hasn't been the season you wanted. You're 6-4. I guess if you find a way to win the last 2 games and you're 8-4, maybe you have a little appeal for TV at 8-4 to get a better opponent. What if, Johnny, they could get a better team to come to Boise to play them? What if you're not playing Buffalo or Miami of Ohio? What if you could get a Tulane or a JMU or somebody like that?
Yes, that'd be sweet, man. That's almost like, that's a bowl game and all that stuff, but it's also like a litmus test against another G5 program. But if you're saying like a P4 program, I don't know what P4 program.
I don't know about that, but I'm just
play Boise State on almost like a true road game for them in that weather. Like, what program is going to be like, oh yeah, I'll go to Boise, Idaho, and get my ass kicked on the blue potentially? That's going to be a tough draw. But
yeah, I just wonder if there's a more intriguing matchup than like a Miami of Ohio or Northern Illinois that you could try to say, hey, if we can get, because they can trade the bowls out all the time. Boise State has been in bowls that have nothing to do with Mountain West, the First Responder Bowl, the Texas Bowl, the ESPN can trade. ESPN can trade teams, do whatever they want. And I know we're still 3 weeks away. A lot's going to happen between now and then. But if there were ever a year, I think you just swallow your pride. And if you're the coaching staff, everybody else, you say, let's get done before Christmas. Let's be done. Let's spend a couple of days with our family and get ready to go for next season. I don't think you want seniors and players. I mean, maybe you want a trip. I get all that, but having to hang around and miss Christmas to be down in Arizona for the Tucson, Arizona Bowl or all these bowls. I mean, I just don't. A
good portion of the team is leaving. That's the world, So doing all that when certain guys, their 1 foot's already out the door to play in some weird bowl game. I did read that comment from Blake. Would the Cougars come to the Potato Bowl? That might be a sell. And I know Cougar fans and Boise fans would be, and that's going to be better than whatever the hell else they would do. I mean, would Boise State fans stay home if you could convince the Cougs to come down, bring their fans to around the holidays? Nobody has to work that time of year. Quick stinking trips. Both those teams are cold climate programs. They're not going to get scared by a cold weather game. Like, I would be all over that one. That's a terrific idea, Blake.
Yeah, and that's where I'm kind of at. If it
would have to be that type of opponent where the Cougars would be like, well, who else? There's not any pretty girls that are looking at us either here. I mean, do we want to stay here by ourselves, or do we at least want to go have some fun? Like, you could sell me on that, or an opponent of that, in that neighborhood. Maybe like a fun experience. And then, stay on the blue, because then those players, the fact that you're staying in town, in your building, doing all the bowl stuff, but also being able to focus on a very important next year. BJ, we talked about this on Idaho Sports Doc. I would imagine, I'll just ask you this right now. In your opinion, yes or no? Will they run this thing back next year, week 1? It's Spencer Danielson, the head coach, Nate Potter, the offensive coordinator, and Maddox Madsen, your quarterback. Week 1, yes or no, in your opinion?
I don't think a lot of people are going to like my answer, but yes.
Okay, I do too. I think they're going to run that back. They better be ready for it, because Eugene week 1, that type of situation. So they got to get a jump on this season, and they got to get this team better. And I don't know if farting around in the New Mexico Bowl is maybe something you want to be doing at that time. Just a silly idiot radio guy's opinion, but that's the world of college football. I looked at last year's bowl season and I studied it. I looked at it close. I get into this. It was weak, man. You look at the matchups and neither team has a coach. There's rarely a game that both programs have any sort of stability still playing each other. And I'm like, why even mess around with the bowl season if it's not going to be the LA Bowl or some type of CFP? But who knows?
Oh, I mean, the bowl system in general is in a lot of trouble with the playoff system and just and the transfer portal. And Johnny, they can say all they want about, the transfer portal doesn't open till January. Guys can, Breezy Dubar already left. I mean, guys can still elect not to play or leave the team. Just because the transfer portal doesn't open till January doesn't mean everybody on Boise State's roster is guaranteed to play in a bowl game.
Oh man, that stuff's going on constantly. Yeah.
I just wonder, and we'll move on here, but I do think it's interesting this year because if there were ever a year to maybe just do the Potato Bowl and get it over with, you've already lost a game on the blue. Maybe the seniors want to have one final game. The coaches, like I said, can get this year over with, move on to next year. I don't know, but if I had to guess, I would still say no. I would still say it is going to be the First Responder Bowl or one of those Texas Bowls where they can get them on with a better opponent and get them on ESPN at some point is probably what's going to happen. And
I respect
ruin all of our
that
Christmases
too.
probably.
Yeah, I respect that too. I mean, if that's what they want to do, that'd be fun too. If they're going to get a cool bowl situation, BJ, not because not all of them are cool bowl situations, but if they can find one, heck yeah, man, go. It's a reward for a season. If you're 8-4, go celebrate that 8-4. A lot of programs hang banners for 8-4s. You know that. It's a really big deal on an 8-4. It's not here. It's not the standard, but it still doesn't mean an 8-4 is not a good football season because, in my opinion, it is.
Someone's asking about the Hawaii Bowl. If Hawaii reaches the Mountain West Championship, obviously, and wins, they would go to the LA Bowl. But I believe Hawaii will be in the Hawaii Bowl. If they already have their wins, and I would suspect Hawaii is going to end up in the Hawaii Bowl. You wonder about New Mexico ending up in the New Mexico Bowl.
Yep.
And that might be fun. I mean, that might be like, I know New Mexico might want to go somewhere else, but they might be able to sell that place out, dude. If they're in their first bowl game in 7-8 years in Albuquerque.
Yeah. I don't know what the opponent would be too. And you have the marketing machine of Jason Eck on this thing bowl game. I mean, he's Pied Piper, man. He sells out games in Albuquerque year one. He has 75 new players on his roster. And he's had the best year they've had in decades. Like, there's my buzzkill on this, though. New Mexico Bowl. I like it, but I don't know who's head coaching that team, There's going to be people that are calling him. His agent's going to be busy. New Mexico's going to have to put another 0 on the end of that check, I think, man. Wow, what a performance. But if Eck is there and wants to do another year, New Mexico Bowl will be kind of fun this year for sure.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out in a couple of weeks, but I think I may throw a question at JD about what's important to him in the bowl games, and if there was ever a year they might entertain, staying back, would this be it? And we'll see if he's willing to say anything on it. A couple other issues, football wise, you need to talk about, Johnny, and as they get ready for the game on Saturday, and then basketball team heading to Maui as well. We'll do that in just a second. Hey, rowpaint.com, our title sponsor, Andy Rowe. rowpaint.com. Check them out. All your painting needs. Our title sponsor, Andy Rowe, and rowpaint.com. TCS, Transportation Compliance Service. They can help you get into the trucking industry every step of the way, whether it's DOT, overweight permits, all that good stuff. Transportation Compliance Service. Check them out, transcomservice.com. Snake River Pool and Spa, patio and game, thespateam.com. You can check them out, thespateam.com. Twin Falls, Boise, Meridian, Nampa. Been around since 1978, whether it's a spa, whether it's a sauna, whether it's a pool table, they got you covered at thespateam.com. Hey, leave us a voicemail, speakpipe.com/BNN on the Signature Roofing voice inbox line. Signature Roofing, covering our community for more than 2 decades, whether it's a re-roof, a repair, an estimate, an inspection. They got you covered at Signature Roofing, online at mysignatureroofing.com. And our friends at Taco Bell, TacoBellWorks.com, the SON Management Group, the Nicolason family. We appreciate Stan and Steven and the whole crew for their support of Bronco Nation News. And get out and try those new crispy chicken strips and all the great options they have at Taco Bell. Get more information online, TacoBellWorks.com. All right, Johnny, where else football? Saturday when you're in the press box and you got your popcorn and you got your coffee and you're sitting there and you're ready to go watching this game kick off, all eyes are obviously going to be on the quarterback situation. What's just your kind of take from what you've heard from coaches and players this week and what you're expecting to see?
That's a good question with this team, right? What am I expecting to see? They're going to try to get a run game going. Probably mix in mainly Sire and Dillon. I don't know if they'll take shots in the passing game. I don't know. It's like what I don't know. I don't know if they're going to involve Matt Lauder. I would like them to. Even it's sometimes maybe force it to him type of thing. Like we're going to run our 3 best lot plays, period, where he's the first option and we know what look we're going to get and we're going to run it and get the ball in his hands and get him going. I would like to see some of that. Maybe some easy looks for cut forth, like some crossers. I mean, I don't know how many attempts I want him to throw. Prater says, 50 attempts. See everything you have, exhaust this kid, drop back passer, make this your biggest evaluation of him because it's Colorado State and you're going to smoke these guys and really use this game to just, it's almost, to see exactly what you have out of cut forth, make him make every throw, open up the whole playbook and just put it all out there. If the game permits and you're winning like that, but ultimately I would think this is kind of your ham and egg it for Boise State. They're going to run the ball. They should run the ball well, probably over 35 times. I'll probably rush for over 4 yards per carry. I will say this, man, pop something. What the hell happened to the explosive on this offense? They got like less than 5 in a month, man. And they had games where they had like 10 in a game. An explosive, that's a 20-plus yard play. Now they get like 1 a game. They figure out a way to get more explosives. It's kind of like what the coaches say in the presser. We got to do this. We got to do this. We got to do this. And they haven't been able to do it the previous week, but they know they got to do it the next week. So for me, they got to do those things, right? And that's running the football, obviously playing really good defense, getting a turnover, all kind of the little things, right? That this program usually does very, very well, that maybe the ball just not bouncing their way for whatever reason this season and forcing turnovers, all that stuff, BJ. They just need to play better. I mean, the last 3 games, you've watched them, I've watched them, we've all watched them, Nevada, Fresno, San Diego State, they haven't played well. This hasn't been a good football team. They know it. So they got to figure out how to get their juice back, get the swag back. This is one of the programs displaying the most swag in the last 20 years. And kind of got to get that bounce back. Hopefully this is the game, but I don't know as far as exactly what they're going to do. They'll probably surprise me.
Now, Prater wanted 50 pass attempts, and I know that's obviously not happening, but he threw 18 pass attempts in the last game, and a lot of those were in the fourth quarter when they were down, when he was throwing like every play in a row. He had 7 pass attempts, Max Cutforth we're talking about. Going into the fourth quarter, he was 5 of 7. Scott Ford is asking, what do you think the actual, Vegas over-under would be pass attempts for Max Cutforth in this game? He's got it set at 18 again. And you would say, oh, that's low if they say they're going to pass more, but he did throw a lot in the fourth quarter. They obviously still want to run the ball. Well, what do you think is an actual kind of over-under that on Max Cutforth, the range he's going to be in for pass attempts?
I think
20?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I see Cutforth 13 for 18, $156, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, sacked twice. Boise State 24, Colorado State 6, something like that. That's probably what I would see. Now, if he throws the ball more than 20 times, does that mean it's close, or does that mean they're running away with it? And they do. I'm sorry, we're not here to hurt Colorado State's feelings or anything, but we got stuff to do with our team here. We're still trying to win a league, and we got this quarterback. This is our situation. We're going to take this second half, even if we're crushing Colorado State. They're better than our scout team, and this is a game situation, and we're going to use this, to get ready for Logan, and then get ready, hopefully, to be in a Mountain West championship game with a chance again at San Diego State. Down there, that stuff is still on the table. It's just this team's kind of lost its mojo offensively, and it's too bad because I think the defense has played outstanding. They give up short field position because the offense will do something to make it that way. They play their asses off, and then by the fourth quarter, unfortunately, like you see on any level of football, the defense will get tired. Break down in the fourth quarter. A 2-yard run in the first quarter becomes 4 yards. A 4-yard run in the first quarter becomes 8, 9, and that is football. And I felt bad for this defense, like sorry for them. Watching them being like, dang, man, that's tough because they're playing winning defense. And the offense hasn't been able to find its rhythm, to find maybe its identity. I've been kind of saying all week, I get it. We are a running team. That's what Spencer Danielson says, right? It's a running team. And I totally respect that. But why? It's Boise State. It's not a running offense. It's a balanced offense. It's formation heavy. It's relying on pre-snap to get looks, reads, coverage. It's discipline. Boise State's offense. It's a precision passing game. Precision with usually an NFL running back caliber in the backfield. And you don't know what they're going to do. There is no identity. And dang it, that's what made them so hard to defend. And I understand that's what this team is. I think you got to be a running team. You can't bring out, hey, dust off Kellen Moore's playbook. Yep, bring it in. We're just going to run those plays. I wish it was that easy. I wish it was that fun. But it's not. And I think they're squeezing what they can out of the sponge. With this talent, it should be a running team. But it wasn't. Boise State before now, everybody knows it was balance. It was high scoring. I mean, it was composure. It was intelligence. There was no real definition for it. And that's what people miss. And again, that's the curse that every head coach will have to bear when they take this gig. And man, it's cool and everything, but it must be tough to be in that building, man.
Give me a basketball thought. Maui Invitational starts on Monday. Broncos 4 wins in a row. Got by Wichita State. Had to kind of hang on there at the end, but led most of that game and did some nice things in that game. Overall, where are you at with the basketball team?
I'm happy with the basketball team. I am. I think they're deep, man. I honestly think if they want, they can run 9 deep. I mean, if Peanut Carmichael is fighting his tail off for minutes.
He played 3 minutes in the last game.
Okay, yeah, if he's fighting for minutes, that tells me you're deep. It really does. So I'm like it there. They play USC on Monday, right? I mean, sign me up for that. Leon Rice versus Eric Musselman. And Leon's got revenge for Musselman. Musselman was getting him when he had those Nevada teams here. And they would come down here, and I think he had the upper hand on Leon. But Boise State, USC basketball, if they win that game, it's almost like I don't need to hear about Hawaii Pacific anymore if they win that game for me. But I think basketball's going in a really good direction this year. And hey, the Mountain West, I know it's struggled in non-con big time, but maybe if it struggles in league too, and Boise State finds itself first, second, third for most of the season, basketball will continue to be a fun experience in this town.
Well, that's going to be a tough draw for folks, though. Do they listen to Prater in the ball game, or do they watch the USC game? They both start at 3:00 on Monday.
Well, we're audio, so they'll watch the game and they'll have IST on their app.
Okay.
Or they'll listen to the IST pod after the game or the next morning. And we got a lot of options, BJ.
Yeah, but I think it's going to be a fun trip. Excited about it. Johnny, appreciate you for jumping on, man. Hope you have a great rest of your day. We'll see you down at interviews here shortly. And we appreciate your time as always, man.
Appreciate you guys. Enjoy.
There he is, John Mallory, host of Prater in the Ball Game. Appreciate him, as always, for jumping on. We are going to be momentarily joined by Jeremiah Dickey, the athletic director at Boise State. So get your questions in. Keep in mind, he can see the chat. So, say whatever you want, but he can see the chat, and we'll take some of those questions, comments for Jeremiah Dickey here coming up in just a second. But I do want to thank a couple of great sponsors real quick. Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. You see 7 NIL deals with student athletes. They've been one of our biggest supporters from day one. We appreciate Idaho Central Credit Union, that mobile e-branch online banking, so easy to use. And they're now in the stadium, outside the stadium. You see their logo, a partner with Boise State again. Great to see. Check them out. Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. Jackson's, you can get that 49-cent fountain drink if Latrell Caples gets in the end zone on Saturday. Looking forward to that. And they have that 99-cent coffee anytime, day or night, from our friends at Jackson's. Jeremiah Dickey's probably had the 99-cent coffee a time or two at Jackson's using your Let's Go Rewards app, and we appreciate them. The Blue and Orange Store, theblueandorangestore.com. Don't forget about that new location down there at the Allen Noble Hall of Fame. You want your Max Cutforth jersey? Well, the beauty of NIL, you can get in there and get that thing printed in minutes at the Allen Noble Hall of Fame location there of the Blue and Orange Store. The Blue and Orange Store, you can order anywhere in the world online at theblueandorangestore.com. Matt Boucher Real Estate. Looking forward to seeing him over in Maui for the Maui Invitational. Always appreciate Matt and his time, and he's going to join us for a show or two over there. BoucherRealEstate.com. Check him out, BoucherRealEstate.com. And Jim Sturk and Lithia Ford of Boise, appreciate them as well. Lithia Ford of Boise, never a better time to buy a new or pre-owned vehicle from our friends at Lithia Ford of Boise. And whether it's a new, pre-owned, they got the electric vehicles. Rain's family love an RF-150 from there. And if you're talking NIL and keeping players, I mean, Cage Casey, Latrell Caples, you see Matt Lauder, they're taking care of vehicles for coaches, administrators. Return the favor, folks, for your next car, truck purchase. Make it at Lithia Ford of Boise. All right, as I said, our weekly chat, we appreciate the athletic director at Boise State, Jeremiah Dickey, for jumping on today. Jeremiah, as you can probably imagine, the fans are all just having great positive questions. They're all fired up, excited about things, I'm sure. But how you doing on a Thursday morning?
Good morning, BJ. I'm doing great. Appreciate you having me on.
Well, we always appreciate it, and we've had some great discussions and topics going, and there are a ton of questions coming in the chat here. I was just talking with Johnny about bowl games, and I know we're still a couple of weeks away, and so maybe this is kind of an unfair question to ask, because a lot can still happen in the next few weeks, and hopefully you're in the LA Bowl as conference champions, and you don't have to worry about it. But given this season and given where NIL is at and the portal and all the external factors and everything, what is most important? What's going to be most important for you when it comes in a couple weeks, sitting down with Spencer and figuring out the timing of a bowl game and what bowl game and where it is and all that stuff? What's in first thought kind of for you? I know it's a long ways away, but what'll be important factors for you guys when it comes to thinking about what to do?
Yeah, timing and distance. Now that doesn't mean we always have control over what that looks like, BJ, but timing and distance. When you look at recruiting and transfer portal and the holiday season and, sending guys back for Christmas so they can see their families, that can be challenging. And, and I don't remember all the dates off the top of my head, but, I think the LA Bowl is first and maybe Arizona is last. And there's so many moving pieces. There's also trading that happens. ESPN owns a lot of bowls, and it's not as like it used to be. It used to be you had to politic your way into. Now there's these agreements that we follow. The Mountain West has their selection process, and we have preference, and I'm very grateful for John Sullivan with the Mountain West and all our bowl partners and the directors of those bowls. Danielle here in town with the Potato Bowl, she's amazing and think very highly of her. And so you start making calls, it's challenging when you think about postseason. I fully live a 1-0 mentality. And I know, people sometimes give me a hard time for that or whatever, but that's our mentality in every sports. Winning's hard, and I'm always just concerned about what's next. And it's the next game, and it's this week, it's Colorado State. And, it's obviously we're bowl eligible and there are conversations happening, but ultimately this stuff is going to play out and depending on, what happens in the Mountain West and where, whoever ends up going to the championship, I think there's, 4 or 5 teams that still have a shot, right? You put something out and, my wife was asking me, what does it look like? And I said, here's what BJ put out. I think the Mountain West put it out. So I appreciate you doing that. And, but yeah,
I still don't know what it means. There's like 7 teams and there's 6 things that has to happen for each team. I mean, it's still,
it's chaotic, but look, I pressure's a privilege, and we understand what our expectations are, and the fact that I think it's 28 straight years now. This isn't our first rodeo. We've gone through this, and we've since I've been here, and obviously it goes without saying because it's 28 straight years, but we've gone to 5 straight bowl games, and there's a lot to be grateful for. I'm glad we don't have to navigate COVID. And we will be in a bowl game and one way or another, and we'll have more information as we receive information for Bronco Nation, so everyone can plan appropriately.
You may not want to answer this, and that's fine, but you mentioned it, so I'm at least going to try to throw it at you. The Potato Bowl in the past has been something where Boise State's too good for that. We want to give a trip to our seniors. We want to go on the road, have that experience. It's pretty much been an instant no in the past all the time. Because it's before Christmas, because it's everything else going on, because the way the season's gone, losing a game already on the blue this year. I mean, is there any thought, if it ever came to that, you guys would consider that maybe if there was ever a time to do that again, that this might be the year?
Yeah, BJ, I'll never say never. I don't operate that way. And it isn't, as set in stone, maybe that others, think it is. And, like I said, I have a great relationship with ESPN and Danielle and John Sullivan and the Mountain West. Some of it we can control, some of it we can't. And, I think really what is close to my heart, and I think I can speak for Spencer in this case. We care very much about these kids. We love them to death. Senior day this weekend is always one of the more emotional days for me because we put a lot into this, and our job is to prepare them for life. And, to be able to provide them an experience. You come to Boise State to compete for championships, and ultimately you're on this team, and it is known like we are going to a bowl. That is the standard. That is the foundation we're building off of. It's not even really a stated goal anymore. It's winning championships and getting to the CFP now. And some may view that as failure, and then that's fine. That's a whole other conversation. But I want to provide, Spencer wants to provide, our team wants to provide the best possible experience for our student athletes, specifically those seniors and those parents. And going away from your home has value. It allows you that one last chance to really connect, and that brotherhood's strong. You've seen it with Doug Martin, and his unfortunate passing, and my heart goes out to him and his family and all Broncos who were impacted. But what was really cool for me, the number of former football players that talked about that brotherhood and those friendships, and that's what it means to be a part of a team. And I think sometimes going away from home allows you to connect differently. You don't have the outside influence, and it is different. And, and we have some bowls that, maybe we haven't been to in a while or whatever. I feel like we've been to every bowl at this point because of 28 straight years. But, that's something that I have to think about. I want to provide the best possible experience. And that's not to imply that the Potato Bowl isn't a good experience. I said earlier, Danielle's elite. I love Danielle and her team and what they do for this community. And I wish our community would support that bowl game more, regardless of who was in it. Because I think it is a great experience, and who doesn't love college football? But I get it. It's holidays, and it can be hard, and sometimes the weather is cold and whatever else. But it's not to imply that they don't have a good experience. But this is our home, and I would like to create something maybe a little bit different. And with the number of bowls that the Mountain West is affiliated with, that provides us an opportunity to go somewhere different and create an experience. And there's also things that, tie into recruiting. Some of those bowls are in Texas, bowl in Arizona, bowl in California, so on and so forth. Like, those are good recruiting areas for us. And it also provides us opportunities on that front, appropriately so. Not necessarily, that maybe we can, but that those kids and telling our story and really expanding our brand. We are a national brand. Playing at home doesn't necessarily accomplish that for us. So there's a lot to consider and think about, but I'm going to control what I can, and I'm going to work with my teammates, and ultimately we'll put our best foot forward, and whatever happens, happens.
All right, if you have a question for the athletic director, Jeremiah Dickey is kind enough to do this once a month or so, taking your fan questions here in the chat. Variety of topics coming in. First of all, Sky says JD's the man. Ignore the haters on here. Dan McMillan, I believe that's Kenzie McMillan's father. Great dude. Appreciation comment. JD's passion for BSU. The student athletes' commitment to growing everything at BSU facilities, fundraising, elite. Fortunate to have him and appreciate what we have. Thanks, JD. A lot of questions coming in. We'll start with Ken. Will we have TV for Olympic sports in the pack like the Mountain West Network? We heard the TV deal come out. What is the plan or options for, volleyball, soccer, those kind of sports?
Yeah, we'll definitely have opportunities for our Olympic sports, those that are fan facing, and that's important to us. There's more information that will come out, most likely in the spring. There's a lot to do when and I think I've said this on, I don't remember if it was your show, BJ, or at the one of those pregame shows, but we're building this plane while we fly it, and building a conference. Yes, we inherited a brand, and that was important to us, aligning our brand with a brand like Pac-12 and their history and tradition, and understanding it's not maybe the same, and people have said that, but their brand still has power, and it still resonates a lot in the areas that we serve and recruit and in our region. And so that's important. But at the same time, this hasn't been done probably since the Mountain West was created, that we're creating a new conference. And that means we have a lot of decisions ahead of us. And I'm really excited about that. When you think about, what do we do for our Olympic sport programs? Where are we having our championships, neutral sites, home sites? Our different sports doing tournaments or not tournaments, and you're just taking the champ of the regular season. We just went through that with soccer. We win the regular season and ultimately lose in the tournament, and we miss out on the postseason. And so there's value, there's positive and negatives. It's like everything we do, almost a SWOT analysis of what is best. And we are going through that process. And a shout out to Teresa and the Pac-12 team and all the ADs that I'm fortunate for that are working through all of these different scenarios and decisions that need to be made. And there are a lot of working groups and everything from telling our story to football to basketball to revenue drivers, and obviously the Olympic sports are important to us. We have a great setup here. Our team does a phenomenal job. I'm maybe biased, but I would say we're the best in our current conference in regard to how we tell our story for our Olympic sport programs, how we serve them, and how we provide those opportunities for those fans. And that's still important to us. And we will have more information on that as we look ahead and head really into the spring.
All right, Tyree wants to go basketball. How frustrating is it to see the lack of student engagement at the basketball games? Students are the catalyst to energy. What are some innovative ways to get them fired up? That's been a topic issue for years, just getting them to show up. And then obviously once they're there, the atmosphere. But your take on trying to engage the students for basketball games a little more, because football, you guys have sold out the student section every game, I believe.
Yeah, 13 straight games and 14 for Bronco Nation. So thank you for that. That's awesome. That's the standard. And so I'm grateful for that. BJ, I always try to have good perspective on things. And I remember what I walked into, and it was a basketball program that wasn't supported, not just by students, but by fans in general. And you had your diehards, but we have come a long way. And so I'm really proud of our team. We have made progress. Our student numbers for early in the season, are good. Obviously we're bar raisers, and I want to sell out the student section like we do in football, but you plan the work the plan. And our team is working on that. There's a lot to navigate and still do for us. I think it ties into us getting extra mile and working with that team. And as we bring them into our department and creating the best possible experience, it has to be a non-negotiable. And we don't need every student on campus to come. We just need a small percentage. And you look at what we're doing in football, we need a percentage of that. And if we could get to 1,000 students a game, that would be elite. And I look at Utah State, and I don't like comparing us against anyone, but I'm always, looking for ideas, and we've done some, taking people to Utah State and talk to their student group, and because you've been there, that's an elite environment. We can do that. You have to have the want and desire, and I can't make people. But there is a level of ownership that I wear, and that our team wears, that we want to do more, and it makes a difference. But that goes for the whole arena. I thought the crowd the other night was good, but it should be better. And people may be offended by that because it's Tuesday night or whatever else, but it is what it is. There's only so many opportunities. It matters to us, and we want to create the best possible experience. And the people that did go, and I've got a number of new, friends and donors who have reached out, early on in the season and said, JD, like, you guys have made progress. And that's what I'm tracking. And we just need to do more. There's always more to do. We're never a finished product. We have to drive more attendance. And then even when they come, we have to define the expectations. I did it early in the season with the New Mexico game in football. It's not just coming, it's staying. It's being there early, it's being loud, and it's staying. And that's important. And, and in basketball, it's very similar. We need people to come, but not just come, stand up, cheer. Like I hear people complain, they complain about my kids, and it bothers me. I have to be careful because I know what my role is, but it's they're too loud or they're standing up or whatever else. It's a basketball game. That's what we're supposed to do. This is not golf. This is not tennis. This is men's and women's basketball and whatever other sport that we expect people to be there early, be loud, and stay late. And that starts with me defining those expectations and our team living out in action what those expectations are. And we have more work to do. I'm very grateful. Bronco Nation is stepping up. We're selling a lot of tickets. And that's progress. But like most things, we're never finished. It's always what's next. And I take a lot of ownership in that. And that's on me. And we're going to figure it out to truly make an elite environment for our student athletes.
Now, you mentioned your kids. They were stars on the broadcast the other night on TV. They were shown 3 or 4 times. Kind of a fun one here, but Wild Redbeard asked if you heard Jay Tuss' call of the game. I don't know if you saw the clip that I posted on social media with what we did with the charity. Do you have any idea what I'm talking about?
I have no idea. I do not listen or watch our games other than if I'm not at the game.
All right, so this is just kind of a fun aside, but Jay was on the show that day, and we found out he was going to be broadcasting the game. So I said, hey, what if we got a couple words that fans could suggest in the chat? Is there any way you could try to sneak those into the broadcast during the game? And what we eventually decided to do was I promised to donate $20 from Bronco Nation News to Jay Tuss Charity of Choice for every word that he could sneak into the broadcast. We gave him a list of 13 words. And here is just a 45-second sample for you, JD, with 4 of the words at Jay Tuss. You can see the words on the screen there: Maserati, Beast Mode, Spicy Little Biscuit, and Cornucopia. If you didn't hear the broadcast, here's what you missed.
The 3 from the corner misses, and it's finally Andrews that corrals it. A no-look pass to Meadow, like a Maserati, driving in, going beast mode, and 1 for Andrew Meadow.
There's 2 of them.
18 occasions where they've had a double-digit guy, in terms of their scoring efforts. They spread the wealth, and I tell you, it's been a spicy little biscuit the way they've been popping that thing around tonight, Angela.
Yeah, 12 assists on 18 field goals made. Coach Rice preaches, pass up a good shot in order to get your teammate a great shot, and that has been on display. They have so many players on this roster that have the ability to score.
A cornucopia of offense for Boise State this year. On any given night,
hats
really
off to Jay
feels like they got
That's awesome. That's awesome. Honestly, I'm surprised that didn't go viral. That's amazing.
Well, I'm still working on the full edit, but it's going to be the problem was Jay got busy and got 13 words on the list in there. So I'm going to be donating like $300 to charity, and that's not a problem. That's great. But we're excited for that. And our friend AP, who I'm sure has a lot of negative stuff to say, says BJ asking the important questions. Good job. Yeah, that's what we're here for, AP. But what else? He didn't get banana ball. Banana ball was one of the words, and Jay somehow couldn't sneak that in. We were a little disappointed, but
and that's an easy one. He could have promoted it.
I know. In terms of this isn't a negative question, but in terms of the football program, 6-4, just where are you at in terms of just overall this season? And obviously it's been a tough year with the quarterback going down and a lot of injuries, and the weather didn't help the other night, but that was obviously a disappointing, frustrating game for a lot of fans to watch, and just the number of running plays and just how kind of vanilla things were. And it was a big struggle to move the ball and score the last couple of weeks. Well, as an AD, when you're not coaching, you're not doing much, but just kind of sitting there these last couple of weeks, what's this been like for you? And just this season as a whole obviously hasn't gone quite to the expectations coming off the CFP bid last year.
Yeah, it's a great question, and one obviously that's expected and maybe justified. Like pressure is a privilege, BJ. I know who we are, and I know what the expectations are, and I've said it a lot this year. Winning is hard, and when you're a Bronco and you have a bullseye on your back, and we're everyone's Super Bowl, and you have an unbelievable fan base, and you're going to get curiously questioned, and then you're going to get the vampires. But my job is to stay as neutral as possible. I can't be too high when it's good and too low when it's not. My job is to find solutions and take ownership and ultimately stand in that gap and support my people. I know how hard everyone's working. I know there is no, I probably get frustrated. I've had to slow down a little bit on social because, and probably mute a few people Because those same people were complaining last year when we had Ashton Ginty and went to a CFP, and they were complaining the year before, and the year it's some of it is just vampires, and it's okay. They're allowed to be that way, but I can't, man. Maybe people get pissed because I'm overly positive. I can guarantee failure. If I show up negative. Negativity only leads to failure, and but positivity leads to something else. And I'm going to continue to be positive. I trust the process. I've said that before, and I'm pretty consistent. And the words I say have meaning. It's not just for some tweets or there's meaning and strategy behind it. It's trust the process, and it takes a team and control we can control, and 1-0 mentality. What's next? And all that has intent. And if anything, I look in the mirror and say, what can I be doing better? I see how hard Spencer and that staff is working, and I understand, like, I'm not a fan, BJ. Like, I don't like, this is our livelihood. This is our job, our profession. And I'm not a fan, and I can't approach it like a fan. And that's not implying that fans shouldn't be fans. Like, we depend on them, and I want them to love winning and hate losing. I hate losing. I hate losing more than I like the feeling of winning. But it also drives me. Like, we're like, I look for the man or mouse moments, we've gone on this roller coaster. The sky's falling and then it's not, and the sky's falling and then it's not. And I can't do the roller coaster. I see what we're doing. There's always things that maybe are happening that we can't say appropriately. So, there is strategy, there is intent, there like, some things aren't a surprise. Some things it's like, all right, we got to dig in and figure out, what that is. But pain, you learn a lot through pain. And Spencer said that, and I'm going to trust the process. And it doesn't mean you don't pivot, in certain decisions that they maybe are making or not making, whatever. But I trust them, and I understand the outcome isn't always what everyone wants. We dealt with it, and I kind of stopped after, because it's like, it's not even worth it. People complaining about a 3-touchdown win, and knowing that, when you lose your starting quarterback, that's hard. That's hard in any sport, or any level of football, I should say. And, there's a lot to think that there are any guarantees in this. Everyone wants to win, and the other side of the ball wants to win too. And, I'm not one to make excuses, like whether whatever, but San Diego State had to play on the same field. And ultimately, our coaches always with the intent of putting the best strategy forward for us to win a game. And I trust that process. And, and you learn a lot through this. Adversity is important. I've learned more in life in failure than I have in success. And it's not that you try to fail, but, you got to look at it and embrace the suck sometimes. And as leaders, we're forced, to really take ownership in that. And that's my job. My job is to be what others need me to be right now. And whatever it means to Bronco Nation, I get it. Like, I understand the expectation is undefeated, and we're going to boat race everyone or beat Notre Dame and so on and so forth. And that's our expectation too. We want to win. Like, that is the goal. We are in this to win. I'm not a trophy guy. I don't care about seconds. It's very hard as a father with my young kids who get a trophy for showing up, that I have to then at home explain to them that means nothing. Like, winning matters, and how we do it matters. I get it. And we want to do it the right way. And, and I believe that the process will prove, the worth in some of the challenges. Every peak you hit, and getting there is hard. Staying there is even harder. And on the other side of every peak, there traditionally is a valley, and you have to work really hard to continue to climb. And the climb doesn't get easier. It just gets steeper. And we have to work really hard. And that also puts a lot on me and in the conversations I'm having with campus and what I've been able to socialize with our state. And I'm so grateful for our state board and people that are listening, and the opportunities I now have with President Shin of being able to get in front of people and tell our story. Revenue share does matter. Money does matter. Investment does matter. We have to continue to elevate, and we are bar raisers, and it takes a team. There's intent. When I put out there, it takes a team and process over outcome. And, you find out who you are and who's in that foxhole with you, because there are a lot of people that just want to be a part of the outcome. And I'm fortunate for Bronco Nation, my staff, and we're committed, and I'm in the fight. Like, like I said, these moments, I don't cower. Spencer doesn't cower. We know who we are. Spencer and I have a lot of conversations, and we understand. And if anything, it unites. There's always a positive path forward, and there's always a solution, and we're going to figure it out. And you're always building to what's next. And that's why we live that mentality. So long-winded, BJ, but I get it. I understand Bronco Nation is struggling, and believe me, it's not rainbows and sunshine. After those losses, it hurts. It hurts, and I see it in the faces of our guys and our coaches who are working 24/7. And sometimes our good isn't good enough. And as a man, as a leader, I have to accept that, and then we go back to work and we figure it out. While everyone else is complaining, we're back at it. And working towards what that solution is, and there's always a light at the end of the tunnel, and I'm going to continue to show up and face it with positivity, because I know that will lead to more success than failure.
We don't have a ton of time left with you, JD, but I think one topic that everyone's talking about is being highlighted at the quarterback position, just with Maddox going down and kind of who the options are behind them, and did they try to get somebody last offseason? Did they not? Did they have money to offer? Did they not? All that kind of stuff. What I know Spencer's big thing is, using the NIL money and the money for talent retention to bring back, keep the guys you have. And that's been a big factor is, okay, we got to keep our guys here. We're going to spend most of our money on keeping the guys here. How do you as an AD look at that? And obviously you want to get more money for everybody and increase the budget and all that, but does there have to be a shift at some point to also be finding available funds for transfer portal players, whether it's quarterbacks or whether it's high school players or whatever, and you want to keep the guys you have, but obviously, the situation this year got pretty tough once Maddox went down, and nothing against Max. He's doing the best he can, but how do you as an AD look at the allocating the funds? And I know that's a coach decision, I guess, and you tell him how much he has, or I don't know how that works, but what's just your take on how you guys look at external additions versus who you have and how you distribute the money?
Yeah, BJ, it's a valid question. One, we know who we are, and everyone can see my budget. Everyone can see what we spend, and everyone can see the progress that we've made in terms of our MMR agreements and revenues coming in, and our record fundraising and record ticket sales. And there's intent behind all that. Some may think we were born on third base here. In some ways, we were just out of the batter's box outside of the brand we had. And we've had to do a lot of real work and hard work and roll up our sleeves and try to stretch dollars as far as we can. And it's led to some really good conversations with campus. I think collectively, we all have to decide what we want of this department and the expectations that we have. And the data speaks for itself, and that ties into the financial situation we're in. You look at what we were, last year in the CFP and what our budget was compared to everyone else. It's not an excuse. It is what it is. If I have to take a spoon to a gunfight, I'm going to take a spoon and I'm going to do some work. And I know our team will too. But at some point, we have to embrace, what do we want this to be? And I think that leads to a lot of good conversations and trying to find more resources, because it's not if anything, I get frustrated. It's like almost like implied lack of effort or strategy, or that we don't care. And it's so far from the truth. That's not our reality. It's not a lack of effort. We've seen the number of, let's talk about the quarterback position and in the past of, whether it was some guys entering the portal or maybe some high school recruits and others that they commit to us and then they end up at Georgia, Oregon, and Iowa. It's not a lack of effort. Our guys are getting on guys, and as soon as they leave us and go commit somewhere else, they somehow pick up another star. I find that interesting. I think a lot of people look and see who we're looking at and who we're recruiting, and it becomes a path of least resistance for us. That's maybe a point of pride, but it's not a solution. We have to figure that out, and we are stretching dollars, and we have to consistently adapt to the changing times in our industry. And the quarterback position is not truly a rotational position per se, right? I know some have done two quarterbacks and whatever, but the success that Mad Dog's had and what he's done and as a starter, and then coming off of a CFP year, and the money being thrown around in our industry, like I get it. Like, is someone going to want to come sit and even if they're a competitor and want to work for that starting position, knowing that it's probably going to be challenging, and with the money that potentially is being thrown at them, and other opportunities they may have elsewhere to, for a team that maybe isn't as good or hasn't had as much success as we've had, and that's testament to Mad Dog. I think that's part of it, but it is what it is. Like I have to find solutions. I have to get this team more support, and I need to convince and socialize this message and convince others you need to be a part of the process and not just show up when we win a Mountain West championship and go to the CFP. And those are hard conversations, BJ. And it's something I spend a lot of time on, and I'm so grateful. It means so much to me to be at a place that it matters so much, because that makes it worth it. It makes the grind, the pain, the suffering, the progress, the success, it makes it worth it. And that's my commitment to Bronco Nation. It's been consistent since the day I arrived, and it will be consistent until the day I leave or die, whatever comes first. I will give 100% to this, and there's always a solution, and we're doing the work. And I can tell you, I look at our recruiting class next year, and that's where I want to defend our coaches and our staff, and our team. And that's not saying anything about who we are. And the players we have, I absolutely love all of them, and everyone's giving 100% and doing their very best. But when you look at what our industry is, there is some, like when you think about depth, because we are a developmental program, that is always a challenge. There's whatever position it may be across the field. You look at the Ohio States and Penn States, and maybe Penn State's not a good example this year, but Notre Dame, whoever, they're 3 or 4 deep, and the reality is this isn't amateurism anymore. It is, and call it what it is. I know this is probably, some ADs may be upset. It's pay for play, and how, and there's a cap, so to speak. But we are money balling it to the best of our ability. We are actively and we're very vocal about what we're trying to do, and creating the Built Different network, and hit 300 Lyle Smiths, and selling out 14 straight games, and so on and so forth. Like it's not a lack of effort. We may not hit the mark sometimes, and there's always more to be done, but it's not a lack of effort. I will put my team in this department and my coaches and staff and student athletes up against anyone in the country. But we have to find solutions, because, we may do some damage with that spoon and that gunfight, but we got to get a knife at some point. We got to keep going, and that's something that's top of mind for me, and I'm willing to do the work, and I know I have people in the foxhole with me who will do the same.
Since AP said I never ask any negative questions here, your shoe size, somebody wants to know.
It depends on what shoe it is. Regular Nike's 14, Jordan's 13. For whatever reason, Nikes and Jordans fit differently, but the 13 in the Jordans, 14 in regular Nikes.
Yeah, they said, love your shoe game. Need to know your shoe size. Maybe you have some shoes coming out.
When you have a face for radio, you better have good shoes.
Well, Jeremiah, appreciate your time. You got volleyball tonight. I know there's some other sports still going on, so hopefully folks are supporting those teams as well. And I don't know if I'm supposed to say this or not, but a little birdie told me, JD, that people are getting on Spencer, whatever. He's lost the locker, whatever. You guys had a torrential downpour at the airport when you're getting ready to board the plane to come back from San Diego. And I heard a certain head coach may have stood there in the pouring down rain and shook every player's hand or hugged every player getting on the plane, and got on the plane like literally as if he had just got out of the pool and just rode the whole way home like that. And that's the kind of thing that he does for the players. And like I said, the haters will be the haters. That's fine. But I think that those that are there realize that there's that you got the right guy there.
Yeah, BJ, even acknowledging it is giving power to it. That there are always going to be the naysayers, and I've had to do some deep thoughts, man, as a leader, and I can't say the same. I have to always adapt, and the access, that I allow people, and it's the same people. I keep track. It's the same people that complained last year. It's the same people that complain, but it's some people you just can't ever make happy. And that's okay. Like I pray for them, and good for them. They approach life that way, and I'm going to approach it very differently. And I know Spencer will too. And that shows you Spencer's heart. He absolutely loves these kids, and they love him. And whatever people are saying, that's all nonsense and outside noise. We're going to control what we can. And things like this, when you go through adversity and you go through pain, you start locking arms with people you want in that foxhole, and some people you kick out. And I'm okay with that. I would go to war with Spencer and anyone on this staff and team in my department. And in many ways, the storm is uncomfortable, when you go through it, but the storm always has purpose. And there's that, I think it's out there in terms of a cow follows the storm, or tries to go a different direction, and the buffalo goes right into it, whatever that analogy is. And we're going to go right into it, man. We're going to embrace it because you learn a lot about who you are and how we're built. We're built different. We are Broncos, and I don't care for the naysayers, man. It's ready and fire, and we're ready for what's next.
Well, appreciate you for your time, and hoping maybe out in I wanted to talk Maui Invitational. Maybe we can get you on a pregame show or something out in Maui and talk about the basketball team. And that's obviously a huge opportunity, a huge tournament that looking forward to next week. But first things first, Saturday and getting a win against Colorado State on senior night. And I know you'll be out there greeting those seniors as they walk on the field for the last time. So appreciate you as always, Jeremiah, and we will talk to you soon.
BJ, a shout out to Bronco Nation. I would ask that everyone shows up early. I love those guys, and they've played hard for us. And I'd love to see the stadium full when we're acknowledging them and celebrating them. Go Broncos! Appreciate you, BJ.
Thank you, Jeremiah. Appreciate it. Jeremiah Dickey. And yeah, they'll have that senior day ceremony. Usually it's about a half an hour before the game starts. So jump on there and support the seniors. And yeah, we appreciate Jeremiah for coming on and didn't have a ton of questions in there. 3 or 4 of you just wanted to kind of bicker and complain. And so that's fine. But if, we're happy to pass along any real questions that you guys actually want answered instead of just, ripping him for how bad he is or whatever else. But it's pretty funny because I think about 99% of folks are realize that, and I'm not just saying this because he was just on, but I mean, looking at the progress they've made since Jeremiah Dickey took over, it really is hard to be, and it really takes a special kind of person to be super negative with Jeremiah Dickey with what he has done. So sorry we didn't get to all your questions. I didn't see a ton in there, but we'll try to plan that for next month and maybe have some more substance questions in there, not just people complaining. So appreciate all you guys for watching today. I got to hurry down to Boise State. We got Leon Rice talking in 20 minutes about the Maui Invitational, and then we got Spencer Danielson talking at 11. So appreciate you guys. Plenty of coverage coming this afternoon to BroncoNationNews.com. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and appreciate you guys. Again, check out BroncoNationNews.com. And we appreciate you guys for joining us. And we'll talk to you with Mike Prater tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Go watch Ball Talk. Go watch Riley and Rid. Maybe the best Riley and Rid show ever. Some hilarious stories from Tyler Crow last night. Go watch Tyler Crow. Very interesting stuff about who would have been the number 2 quarterback last year, by the way, if Maddox Madsen had gone down. That's a tease for you. Go check some stuff out. We appreciate you. Have a great rest of your day. And but if I didn't get your question in, apologize. We'll try to get more in next time. Have a great day. Bronco Nation News Live, Bronco Nation News.